Hello. So I wanted to follow up my, as an individual, side my rant, which perhaps is not inappropriate. So what I'd like to do today is express the concern that I disseminated to the public on June 14th of 24. This particular situation or this communication was on Flag Day. So I will read it. To all it may concern, I write this email with a heavy heart, with despair and a soul weighed down by relentless agony. This communication is born out of sheer terror and a feeling of profound desperation. The suffering I have endured at the hands of a government that should protect me has been nothing short of a human atrocity, and it is with a deep sense of urgency and fear that I make my plea. I have lost everything that matters, my sense of self, my financial stability, and any hope for a future where I can live with dignity. The injustices I've experienced, despite my efforts to serve the public good, has led me to a point where I am begging for relief, not just for myself, but for the countless others who have suffered silently under this corrupt system. Today is Flag Day, June 24th of 24. A day when we honor the symbol of our nation and reflect on the values and principles it reflects. On this day, I am reminded of the importance of justice, freedom, and the rule of law. I am exercising my right to petition my grievances as protected under the laws of the United States. This right is fundamental to a free society and is enshrined in the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. My pleas are made with the hope that justice and fairness can be restored in the face of overwhelming governmental neglect and abuse. In the spirit of this holiday, I also express my wish for the protection of the bald eagle. Sometimes you have to be metaphorical, I guess. A symbol of our nation's strength and resilience. One of the primary reasons for this email is my absolute imperative to communicate with individuals within the state in an attempt to redress grievances and to let you know that homeowners in Nevada are owed no duty of care. No duty of care would be a chilling effect to have homes be sold at auction by the government. This grave oversight puts anyone making their payments on their mortgage at tremendous risk as a subservicer, does not even have to adhere to the agreement that was signed or the laws with the lender, designed to protect homeowners. It is an urgent danger that threatens the security and well-being of countless families. The fact that Loan Care LLC was allowed to say that we kissed and made up is particularly egregious and makes me feel as if I have been sexually assaulted. I would never kiss and make up with a corporation that has caused so much harm and violated my trust so deeply. I am terrified of my government. This is not a vague fear, but a paralyzing dread that grips me every waking moment. I live in constant fear of a system that should be my protector. I would assume we're all brainwashed, but has become my oppressor, which historically has happened how many times in the United States? Homeowners like myself should be safeguarded against exploitation and financial ruin by the very institutions meant to protect us. Instead, I find myself crushed under the weight of corruption, where state actors, government operatives, and their cronies profit from my suffering. This is abomination, a grave injustice that cannot be ignored any longer in any society that calls itself civil. I have been specifically targeted because I conducted legal business using Bitcoin through my eBay account for my LLC to try and make a living. This venture is separate from my financial advisory services, where I have served over 15 years with an unblemished record. My belief in Bitcoin is grounded in a deep understanding that fiat currency is a curse to humanity, a tool for exploitation that benefits a select few at the expense of many. With the degree in the ethics of public policy, I understand the critical need for sound advice. Bitcoin offers a path to financial freedom and protection from systemic abuses, yet individuals like Maurice Campbell exploited me, a disabled victim of a random act of violence, to cover up discrimination per se, as I had not overcome my hardship situation. Even though okay. In honor to Kendrick, since I'm from that era and the 80s meant a lot to me, stop the violence. Sorry for the pause. They are not like us. I'm going to repeat. They are not like us. They're not like us. They are not like us. They profit from the suffering of others and make a living off taxpayers, protected by their positions, unlike the ordinary public who go unprotected. I feel like asking so many rhetorical questions, but I will continue with my statement. Every day I live in terror of a home invasion, whether from government agents due to the random act of violence or from other individuals. Countless people have come to my home. That's why this email nonsense is silly to me. But I understand you guys are offended about emails. It just shows the privilege. And, it's ridiculous, honestly. The government's responsible. They should do something. I've emailed everybody. I've emailed Dirk that Tatum made me bleed. I don't think anybody should be enforced with a U.S. Marine while you're reporting government corruptions, but that's what happened to me. I got distracted because I had to cough. I'm going to restart for the paragraph. Every day, I live in terror of home invasion, whether from government agents due to the random act of violence or from other individuals. Countless people have come into my home trying to buy it, despite my never wanting to sell, being stuck in a non-consensual relationship with loan care. This relentless harassment has turned my sanctuary into a prison, giving me a state of driving me to a state of constant fear and despair. The conspiracy to force me out of my home for financial gain has left me feeling violated, terrified, and utterly defenseless. The government's failure to protect me when there is a clear and obvious financial gain for state actors is an unforgivable betrayal of the citizens of Nevada. I feel this is very important, but I won't commentate. This situation resembles the corruption of old Europe, where unchecked power allowed government officials like Timothy Whitwright to feast on taxpayer money while ignoring their basic responsibilities. Whitwright has been exploiting the public for far too long without even fulfilling his duty to return phone calls. His tenure has far exceeded any reasonable limit, leading to a dangerous abuse of power. He is a deluded failure as a leader and as a human being. I am disgusted by the thought that these individuals might believe they are doing good when they are in fact the scum of the earth. They are not like us. They do not face the same challenge or uncertainties as they live off the taxpayers, shielded by their positions of power and influence, commentary, generally by appointment, aka Mike Naff then voted in. How much taxpayer money has been funneled to public servants who fail to perform even the most basic task for the public because their true allegiance lies with their friends within the government rather than the people they are supposed to serve. I categorically refuse to deal with the deceitful individuals at Nevada's Affordable Housing Assistance Corporation, also known as NAHAC. Why would they help me when their board of directors profit from selling homes at auction for quick gains? How many others have they exploited, enabling fix and flippers to plunder the Nevada housing market? I am deeply suspicious that the LLC, which purchased my house, is connected to these individuals. I have been denied a trial, 32725, and it is clear that false testimony has been given by LoanCare. Adding to the torment, NAHAC's attorney promised me an email on my father's birthday, April 18th, and they failed to deliver. This is not merely an oversight, it is a deliberate attempt to silence me and prevent me from exposing my corruption within this organization. I am petrified at the thought of giving a speech at a public open meeting, as I have no trust in anyone there. My mother and her individuals that were so kind to take them, thank you, ended up getting segregated when they finally went. These meetings are a farce, ran by individuals who would not survive in the public sector and who thrive on taxpayer money for their own benefit. I demand that these individuals take a 70% pay cut in solidarity with the financial devastation I have suffered while caring for my mother. Meanwhile, individuals like Randy Johnson, sir, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, continue to prosper, and LoanCare LLC operates with impunity, exploiting others through lies, fraud, and state collusion to steal people's homes. It is a monstrous affront to humanity that such a system exists and continues to be perpetuated. Sorry, commentary. They are not like us. They live off the taxpayer money and thrive in a system that allows them to remain unaccountable while the rest of us suffer under their exploitation. The prolonged suffering I have endured is a direct result of my dealings with NAHAC. I refuse to bow to their deceitful tactics because I have seen firsthand their ruthless approach. NAHAC denies housing assistance to those who have become disabled and have not overcome their hardship situation, ensuring that their suffering is prolonged not for days or months, but for years, stretching into decades. It is 2025. These events started in 2027. The random act of violence was 2015. Commentary, context, apologize. The cruelty and malice with which they extend people's suffering is nothing short of diabolical. These individuals lack empathy and operate with a malevolence that defies human decency. Amidst my suffering, I was called to testify for the Victims of Crime program in a civil matter. I had nothing to gain from this and endured severe emotional torture for the benefit of the public, hoping to advocate for justice and prevent future suffering. Despite my willingness to stand up for victims, I was met with further indignity and neglect. During the criminal sentencing, I was not even provided with a victim's advocate. A basic courtesy that should have been extended to someone in my position. This neglect left me feeling abandoned by a system that should have been my ally. My coffee. Ugh. I am invoking NRS 239 and all applicable case law, including the Comstock Resident Association v. Lyon County Board of Commissioners 134, Nevada Advanced Opinion 19, to demand the immediate release of all communications regarding my housing from Maurice Campbell, Timothy Whitwright, and Randy Johnson. These communications on both private and public devices must be produced without delay. I am pursuing a second lawsuit against these individuals whom I consider to be maligned actors who have colluded for the financial gain of Randy Johnson of Trustee Corps at the expense of my life and well-being. I have spoken with 4 separate representatives who confirmed that they had fixed their own errors. This is in regards to LoanCare. This is not in dispute. LoanCare's own paperwork explicitly states loss mitigation, right party contact, IB inbound, call, QA verification, MMOOP, sell auth, RFD, no change, spoke to borrower who C1 regarding status on loss mitigation, ADVSD of approval given today. Despite these assurances, I have suffered immensely as each representative made false promises. No individual named in this letter should experience the agony of being told their housing is secure, only to be later informed their house must be sold because it was supposedly unoccupied. This, despite my confirming its occupancy via certified mail as requested. None of my efforts matter because a home loan servicer owes no duty of care, a failure that rests entirely with our lawmakers. This convenient loophole benefits wealthy, politically connected individuals at the expense of society as a whole. These are literal parasites, exploiting public funds to gather leads for their private out-of-state business trustee corps. In the confusion surrounding my inability to apply for housing assistance due to becoming disabled by NAHAC, I was left bewildered and unable to comprehend how I could be facing foreclosure given that I was making payments and my case was under appeal. Yet despite all this, Randy Johnson must be paid as ransom, exacerbating my suffering and adding to the cruel injustices I have faced. LoanCare LLC has turned my life into a nightmare. Their total disregard for human suffering and the integrity of their operations is beyond comprehension. They don't even know if they are a lender or a servicer. I never borrowed money from them, yet they operate with impunity thanks to their connections within the state apparatus. This issue is not mine alone. It is a glaring example of systemic failure. LoanCare LLC's practices have plunged countless homeowners into despair, and it is insane that lawmakers have not addressed something so serious. They may believe that they have done so, but if the administrative code only serves those with enormous financial incentives to keep their activities covert, it exists solely to benefit their publicly funded board of directors and staff, minimizing their personal gain while minimizing their liability and accountability to the humans they impact. If I've missed some of this, forgive me. I am getting a bit lightheaded. It is hard to read. 18 minutes, my goodness. I'm trying, fam. Excuse me. Excuse me again. As of June 14th, 2024, LoanCare LLC has 1,210 reviews on various platforms, with 1,168 of them being 1 star. That's a staggering 96.5% disapproval rating. Out of over 1,000 reviews, not even 9 are 5-star reviews. This is undeniable proof that I am not simply unlucky or failing to make payments. The Better Business Bureau reviews further highlight this issue, with LoanCare LLC having a total of 419 reviews and an average rating of 1.07 out of 5 stars. This company has been operating for over 40 years, engaged in unethical practices that have resulted in immense suffering. It is beyond comprehension why people are not making the connection between the homeless crisis and the lack of protection for homeowners from their own government and companies like LoanCare LLC. Moreover, there is currently another lawsuit against LoanCare for negligence taking place in another state, further demonstrating their pattern of misconduct and their widespread harm they cause. doing my best. If people have made it this far, hit the like button. That's so cheesy, but thank you for listening. The term Home Means Nevada is nothing more than propaganda designed to financially benefit people like Randy Johnson. There is no home in Nevada if home loan servicers who are part of a multi-billion-dollar corporation owe absolutely nothing and can leave a person feeling sexually assaulted with ruined credit and a litany of lies and deceit. I deeply regret following the advice of the FBI. Oh my God, do I ever. I honestly think they'll cover it up. I begged him. I saw him write it down. I deeply regret following the advice of the FBI when I visited them out of sheer confusion as to how a government corporation could tell me I was segregated into an appeal of an unrequested application, which has been confirmed by Fenimore Craig and Mr. Bird. NAHAC has already falsified an application, openly discriminated against me, and had the audacity to state that they would no longer respond to my emails. They then asked for private financial data, which they clearly used to base some decision that unsurprisingly made Randy Johnson wealthier. I feel like I'm about halfway through, if that helps anyone. I must ask, what affiliation does Maurice Campbell have with the Home Means Nevada program? One of their mediators made false statements to the court about the delivery of the item, which was categorically false. It is obvious that Maurice Campbell has no interest in providing individuals with any relief whatsoever, instead making up lies from her comfortably publicly funded throne. Did Maurice Campbell have an in-depth knowledge of how foreclosures work? This is painful. Forgive me, guys. I'm trying. Tried to find some. I forgot where I was, y'all. I'm so sorry. Oh, about her. Oh, okay. Who decided to deny the application I did not request? It seems the government, or at least some element within it, ensured my home was attempted to be sold to maximize the profits of Loan Care and Randy Johnson. My friend even loaned me, former friend, commentary, apologize, 1.6 Bitcoin to satisfy the demands of these evil people who openly admit to engaging in mental torture of sexual assault. I did not kiss and make up with Loan Care LLC. The fact that a judge said I did and that it's okay is literal torture. I often wonder if Judge Diane I often wonder if Judge Diana Hampton, rest in peace, she lived in Inspirata. I often wonder if forgive me, please. Felt like I was doing so well. I'll do Eye of the Tiger there.